All right, according to the powers of the computer people, we're live here. So for everybody who is here, if you wouldn't mind, there's a little chat area, or if you don't see that, there might be a little questions area. Can you tell me if you see me in a little corner, and can you hear the words I am speaking? I just want to make sure that we have all that. And as a quick FYI, there is about a 20-second gap or delay, let us call it, between when I speak or when you type something and I'll see it. Because we're actually streaming, if you've never been in this particular situation. We're streaming live, but it's doing some weird piggyback. Awesome. Thank you, Jason. Perfect. Here they come. This is good. Yeah, the technology piggybacks through YouTube Live. So I'll try to make this as brief as possible. And it's awesome. So I can see there's lots of folks still coming on. I'll give this just another minute. And if you are here for the replay, we're going to kick this off in just a second. Now, really quickly, what's going to be going on here tonight is I'm going to cover a lot of this. We're going to be going over the entirety of the program of this system that you can implement within your own business. So really quickly, I'm very curious. How many of you are full-time practicing coaches? You can say yes, no, whatever that is. I'm just curious. And where are you coming from? What part of the world? I'd like to hear some of that. And then in just 1 minute, we're going to kick this off and have a good time. So we are not even 2 minutes into this, and it looks like, if I'm not mistaken, we are even recording, which would be amazing if the technology works. Cool. So tell me where you are and where you're from. And what I'll do. Oh, and I must apologize. I have a bit of a cough. So there might be a brief interlude of horking and hacking. Moving to full-time from Nashville. Excellent. Been to Nashville many times. Thank you for that. Awesome. Cool. All right. So you know what? We are now 2 minutes in, and it looks like the tech is working. And if anybody's having any trouble seeing or hearing, just let me know. And here we go. So this is how to, in your coaching business, for, if you aren't working with high-ticket clients, I'm going to show you how to set up your program. And if you are working with high-ticket clients, great. Maybe you can pull some away from this to really improve. And it's without using a whole bunch of complicated stuff. In fact, all of this tonight is focused on really just simplifying it, So there's a 3-part effortless framework they're going to use, and that's how this whole evening is broken down here. And so the agenda, as I like to call it for tonight's class, is coaching CPR, how to set yourself up for success before you even get started, how to earn what you're worth and have their clients super happy to pay for it, and how to be able to deliver a pretty transformational outcome to them. The 3 C's framework behind how to grow your business rapidly with precision, and how to effortlessly close, effortlessly close 3 to 5 more clients each month, literally with zero selling. I think you're going to like that one a lot. And then the 3 vital rituals to simplify your business and accelerate your results. It looks like my head might be over the bottom part of the sheet, but you know what? I think we'll live. Cool. So this is important because I am pretty sure almost none of you tonight have seen a class like this. It is broken down like this. Everything you need to succeed with this model, and the goal of what I'm going to show you is how you can add $250,000 to $400,000 in sales into your coaching business in the next 12 to 18 months. And I know that might initially sound like, what? But it's actually quite simple. In fact, I have the numbers to prove it. And it's broken into 3 parts, and I'm going to have a Q&A after each section. All right. And it's important that you understand that, because this is a participation class, meaning if you are not asking questions, you are probably not going to get the true value out of what I'm going to show you here on this. So we have lots of case studies. I have lots of screenshots where I've pulled it from, our clients, even things that we've run ourselves to give you examples of how these things are working and whatnot. So each segment, it's a building thing. So if hopefully you're here for the beginning of this, or you're going to have to redo it on the replay. We're going to build each one until we get to this massive crescendo. And the other thing you have to keep in mind is this is not your normal 90-minute webinar. You're probably going to be here probably 2.5 hours or so. So I'm just going to let you know that in advance, that this is not your typical kind of like, you know, jump on and buy my stuff. I'm going to tell you a big sob story about how I was like, you know, broke and, you know, I was a janitor and some guy hit me over the head with a convertible and I, you know, whatever. None of that's going to happen. Okay. What I'm going to do instead is actually give you content you can use. There's nothing to buy. You know, there's a program, of course, but you can't buy it. So I'll get more into that in a little bit. So really quickly, and this will be mercifully brief because this is about you, not about me. I am Johnny Andrews, and I got my start, I would say very rockily, back in 2004, and just really struggled with all that stuff. But I kept going with it and kept putting one foot in front of the other. And so right about 2006, I hit my first 6 figures and then 7 figures in my online business. And then 2010 to present have launched multiple ecosystems that can reach as many as 2 million people per week in a whole variety of different marketplaces. In 2012 to the present, been featured on, if you've heard of Pat Flynn and Smart Passive Income, some of the top business and publishing podcasts out there after selling 15,000 books in 7 days. Came out of nowhere with that one. And then present now working with over 16,000 authors, 20,000 entrepreneurs and coaches, including hundreds of New York Times and USA Today bestsellers. So that's my background. I think that was less than 30 seconds. Now let's talk about you. Well, also my mission, there is something here. I want to create 1,000 millionaire coaches over the next 3 years. I'm on something of a, what would you call that? Yes, an adventure to do this. It's going to be great. So let's kick this off, part one, all right? Closing 3 to 5 new clients each month without selling. And what I've noticed about this is as I speak to more and more coaches and consultants and folks like that, it makes them feel sort of dirty to have to, go out there and try to get the sale. But at the same time, I think everybody sort of has the fundamental realization that you don't have a business unless people are buying, and don't you need to sell people in order for that to happen? Well, that's what we're going to go through tonight, is how you can actually flip that around, because the reality is your clients have become savvy. Think about how many ads they see in a given minute. Honestly, I think what are they? There's a number out there that the average person is seeing something to the tune of, I don't know, like 500 to 600 ads a day. And so when you're selling or you're advertising, you're doing all that kind of stuff, it really kind of gets old for those folks. And so there is very much a way to do that. And so once again, though, most people, when we talk to them, they're like, but how do I get clients? Like, if I'm not selling it, how do I get clients? But yes, selling makes me feel dirty. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip this around. Now, typically when we speak to coach folk, what we'll see is they have one of two main categories of business models. And one is the funnel style process. I'll break that down if you're new to a funnel or anything like that, or not quite sure what it is. I'll break that down in just a second. But, that's what we'll normally start seeing. Or, sometimes there's a page that's like, hey, sign up for a strategy session or something like that. Then the other type we see is kind of interesting, and I think we can all agree you don't want to be here. But if you are, that's okay, because you can start using what I'll show you in a minute. But there's no systems, no model. It's like a hope-based business model. There's no traffic going to it. There's no marketing, no advertising. It's kind of like this weird word-of-mouth sort of thing. And yeah, but the big question, let's get into this now, because obviously you want to have something like this. But our funnel's broken, because what's happening here is that they become less and less effective because there's no barrier to entry on the internet. So there's literally thousands of people doing the exact same thing. So the traditional funnel is you run traffic to that squeeze page. They opt in for a free report, a video, something like that. From there, you have an automated system that's going to offer them for something for sale, like, a cheap ebook or, maybe a course or something like that. And then if they buy that, maybe it's a $27 to $97 thing. And, you upsell them. Essentially, it's called, graduating the buyer. And if they buy that, you offer them another upsell. And then eventually you get to some one-on-one coaching or group coaching or something to that effect. All right. So this is, and you've seen this stuff a lot already. But they don't work very well, because what's happening is they're actually weeding out your ideal clients who are the most committed. And I'll explain why. And this is why it filters out the best people here is. So, and I'm just going to throw out a whole bunch of different, because we've spoken and worked with tons of different folks, but specializing in relationships, you're able to get amazing results for couples who are in a crisis state, but really at their core want to save their marriage. So, what that looks like is, a lot of fighty kind of things, but like deep down, everyone's like, oh, I love you. I just wish that you wouldn't yell at me like that every time I chew my food. Anyway, let's say at the beginning of your funnel, you're offering like a $7 ebook, because, you're trying to, graduate them up the rung. But here's the problem with that. You know, these guys, if they're in a crisis state, they've probably already been out there searching, and they've run across tons and tons of people offering tons and tons of stuff. So they've already seen that. So they're not going to take it because they probably bought a bunch of other ones, and you know what? It didn't work. It didn't work for them because it wasn't the right thing, because it wasn't like directly communicating to them. And so they don't need this. It's like a Band-Aid or something like that. What they need is like the entire triage wing of a hospital. You've probably been in this kind of situation before, all right? All right, so the other reason this thing is just flat broken is because it forces you to create a ton of extra stuff, and that is not fun. I have been doing this a long time, worked with a lot of people, and I can pretty much tell you not a single human being has ever said, oh yeah, I can't wait to create another product in my funnel. And then you have to write all this sales copy or do all these sales videos and then provide support for it. And it's just like this massive logistic nightmare to kind of like test it and keep it all going. So, you know, it can take months. It literally can. I just had a conversation recently with one of our folks that this was the path he was going on before I helped fix him. But they can work. I mean, they do work. They can work. But the problem is it's just, you know, it's Me Too. Everybody's doing it, and we're just watching effects of it sort of go down, 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 down. And because, you know, you're presenting these people that have real big problems with these sort of Band-Aid products that they're like, yeah, you know, I think I've already done a whole bunch of this, and I don't need to see any more of that. So let's talk then about, let's flip the conversation around, talk about what does work. And really, let's just ask the question, you know, what about having a simple conversation with your people? So I want you to ask yourself this. What do you think would happen if we took the whole idea behind a funnel and completely flipped it around? And so rather than forcing people to buy a bunch of stuff that they know they don't need, we just give them exactly what's necessary to achieve the perfect ideal outcome. You know, I mean, why not? Why would we not do that? And so, you know, rather than opt in for, and that's, you know, in a traditional, hey, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff kind of thing. In this one, then, what if we, you know, even did it with the free ebook? And instead of having them subscribe to get this book and then pitch them something later, you just gave them the information that they really needed. And so this is really called the art of the conversation right here. And so most coaches are using this very transactional marketing situation. It's like, give me this in exchange for this. And they ask to receive before they have given. And so this is very Me Too because everybody's doing it, essentially. It is a very, very, very specific form of marketing. And like I said, it does work, but it's kind of like forcing it a little bit, but it's becoming less effective. And so what if you could capture, engage, inspire, and stand out, demonstrate your transformational value without resorting to this whole Me Too marketing, to being lumped in with everybody else? And so what if all this marketing and sales was just, you know, casual conversation, no hype, no sneaky techniques, no expectations of any kind at all, you know? And if you did it this way, just saying, you know, what if it would allow your perfect prospect to bond with you, to get to know you, and to really start liking and trusting you? You know, in other words, all of the ingredients you need to be able to actually make a sale when the time comes. And so what I call this is a process called conversational conversion. I've actually been doing it since, I want to say, 2009. In fact, long history with this kind of thing. But I'm going to break down the framework behind how you can deploy this in your own business. And I'll show you the kind of transformational outcomes that you can have with it. All right, so big rule in business, and I think we're all here. We've all heard this before. People tend to buy from those they know, like, and trust. I have no idea if it was Zig Ziglar who said that, but for tonight, we're going to pretend it was. So people buy from those they know, like, and trust, right? And so most coaches, like I said, are either marketing all the same, so there's almost no way to differentiate, or not marketing at all, or trying to market to everybody, which is another massive mistake. So how do you do this? So let's get into this. So you follow, there's actually a 3-step process right here. Capture, connect, and convert. Pretty basic, right? All right, so let's get into it. But capture, we're not talking about going for the lead or the subscriber or the email or anything like that. You can, but this is way cooler. So you want to think about, how do you develop a relationship with someone? How do you become the person they know, like, and trust? Decent question. So what happens is you can build powerful relationships, and just think about this at any moment in your life. When people spend time with you in a non-threatening, non-salesy environment, like, actually think about the people you like hanging out with? Like, are they always trying to get you to do something or pitch you something where then they're going to upsell you into like, hey, if we go here, then we can go here? It's just, that would just be weird. So if you just think about like chilling out with folks and doing that kind of thing. So these powerful relationships are built very quickly, I might add, when you can help the person basically describe what they're experiencing. So this would be your ideal client. If you are able to articulate what they are experiencing almost better than they can themselves in their heads, you're going to get that nod, and this person's going to be like, wow, they really nailed it. That was crazy huge. And so then what if you flip that in the script on everybody in this horror coaching space, and you started to come at your market, not with a bunch of like crazy ads or, you know, trying to chase people around, but if you just created these short, engaging, educational videos, and I'll give you the framework for these, but they first identify the problem that your prospect is going through, and then you just pretty much give them the steps to solve it, and then don't ask for anything else. That is literally it. It's the craziest thing, and it works so freaking well. So this is how you pull it off, all right? You have to pick one very specific type of client. So if you are a generalized coach, you're going to need to make a little pivot in what you're doing. You know, so this works with every kind of coaching you could imagine, whether it is, you know, life coaching, business coaching, success coaching, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to use an example. Married women with high-powered corporate jobs who are at a crisis point and overload, who are seeking balance and reduce stress in their lives. That's a pretty specific human, I think, right? There's also a lot of them, by the way. Now, why would I do this? And it's because when you pick the one type of person, and what happens is now, instead of like marketing to multiple people or trying to solve multiple problems, you have one kind of person who has this very specific need. And what it does is, it's amazing when you just sort of like eliminate the noise and you speak directly to them. It grows this conversation naturally. You know exactly the kind of stuff that you need to say. And it establishes that know, like, and trust factor sometimes within minutes. So on the flip side, and this is what most coaches are doing, without being that hyper-focused, and it was interesting because over the past couple of weeks, I've been going through LinkedIn and looking at all of these interesting profiles of all of these very interesting coaches, and just seeing literally this personified. And so the problem is, if you aren't hyper-focused, you're going to end up kind of just taking whatever comes, and it just creates chaos. You end up with like people that aren't doing what you want them to. You know, you're having to work 10 times harder to get like an eighth of the result. And when you do it the way I'm showing you, it's going to be way, way better. And so we're going to learn how to fix all this stuff today. So the key element, and this is important, I'm going to give you some examples from my spelunkings through the LinkedIn that I think you'll find amusing. But this conversational conversion, it's 100% about them. Because the reality is, and I mean, this might sound a little harsh, but it's also true, is that people don't really care about you. They don't care about me. You don't care about me. You want to know how to achieve an outcome based on a pain point. Sometimes it's even curiosity, but that's what it is. The conversation has to be about them in all places and faces. So here's a common example, and this is, I mean, I will admit this is a bit extreme, but the reason I'm showing you this is because this is how the vast majority of folks are presenting their coaching solutions, all right? And this is an actual thing that an actual person published. I will not, you know, divulge who it was. But here one is, my primary background, focus, and experience includes psychology, behavioral analysis, behavioral medicine, forensic medicine, motivation, addiction. I mean, I have degrees. Good, great. My commitment to you, I will continue my education. Like, of course you will, because it seems that you are addicted to education. I will learn to grow. I will share with you my success tools and principles that I was fortunate to receive, so that you don't, all that kind. Okay, you can read. All right, everybody can read. Do you kind of see why that just is? And that's the thing, is you don't need to lead with certification. You don't need to lead by trying to blow their mind with all the credentials or whatever it is. What you have to do is show up and be a person, and show up and have the solution to their problem. It's a little bit better than an elevator speech. So instead of that, we're going to do this. I help women with depression reclaim their joy and feel alive again. I went to Harvard. Well, I didn't. I'm just saying, but do you not, that's not in there. because it shouldn't be, because nobody cares. Truly, I've seen so many folks who are listing out this, like, you know, I mean, it's sort of like this roadkill strip of credentials, but it doesn't help anybody. You want to talk about, when you speak about yourself, you want to direct that to them, where it means something to them. I help corporate VPs establish inner peace by helping create a balance between career and life. That's a big deal. That's a huge, huge niche. By the way, delicious tea. My little hibiscus. It's a wonderful thing. My favorite. I help husbands reignite their passions in marriage through a powerful step-by-step reconnection process. I went to Yale. You know, that you don't have to have. None of the education matters. None of that. This is called, like, if somebody's never seen you before and you're trying to get new customers, this kind of situation is more of a conversational conversion than anything else that a lot of people are doing. So let's get back into the process. So first, here's how you do this. You make a list of all the pain points. What are the issues they want to fix? And how do they feel about that? Next, you make a list of how they feel once those problems are gone, or they have strategies and tools to resolve them at will. So let's say it's a recurring problem, and right now they're just getting mauled by it. But what you're able to provide them for is a framework to, like, interrupt the pattern and then get themselves back, you know, back in line again. How are they going to feel when that happens? And then third, you make a list of stories, examples, and analogies, metaphors, similes, metaphors, that kind of thing, to help you support your strategies. Just think about this. You know, it's like, you know, when you got in school, some of your best teachers, I'm guessing, the ones that you remember, I remember I had a teacher when I was taking an English class, and what he would do is literally just lean up against the chalkboard, sip his coffee, and he would get chalk all over the back of his suit jacket. And he would literally just spin these yarns about all of these authors and stuff like that. And I mean, these people, first of all, had the craziest lives ever. I think they probably did more drugs collectively than the Rolling Stones and Ozzy Osbourne combined. That's just a theory there. But anyway, I remember that because those stories were so, it was so powerful. People tend to remember that kind of stuff. All right, now this is a big one, because I get this a lot. It's like, well, how do you know? How do you know what's going to work? So I want you to imagine that you could have a crystal ball that was going to tell you, when you stared into it, you know, you had to feed it like $1,000 or something like that, and then it would be like, oh, this is the stuff that's going to work in your market. Here are the stories that you tell. Here are the things that you do and say. And then people are going to be like, yes, I would love to work with you. All right. Because you actually do have that, and this is what it is. So what you're going to do after you've made that map of what I just showed you is you're going to create a series of 3 to 5 short videos. And these are 3 to 6 minutes long. You know, less than 3, probably not going to connect with them too well. More than 6. And I mean, keep in mind, we're talking about social media marketing, and people are kind of scrolling for cat videos. So give them a break. There's more time later. And then each video is going to address one pain point, and then you give the steps to solve it. All right? And they're not behind a squeeze page. Just put them out there. All right? And so why we do this? There's a very good question here. It's because Facebook, and actually a lot of other platforms, will let you build an audience of the people who consume your content. So when they watch the videos, they're like, oh, look at that. Meaning, so if you put out those videos, they probably spent as many as 30 minutes with you already if they're watching another video, and then another video, and then another video. This is your perfect audience. I mean, think about this. Why would somebody watch a video about, like, say, you know, how to diffuse marital arguments, or how to, you know, have success in their career, you know, if you're doing sort of like the success coaching thing, if they weren't really interested in it? Like, no, seriously, you couldn't pay me to sit down and watch a 6-minute video of something that I have no interest in. You know, like underwater basket weaving. I'm sure there's like a whole group of people for that. And so now these videos become your ads. All right. So what you're going to do is, this is going to let you, when you run them like this, you're going to be able to stand out from this ocean of the Me Too marketing coaches, and you're going to be able to get in front of your prospect before you ask for anything else. You're actually going to prove you can help them by really helping them, by giving them this good content. And so you're going to deliver this actual value before you ask for anything. And so, you know, here's the crystal ball concept again. How do you know which one of these videos is going to work best? And the answer is you don't. You just put them out there, you run them like that, and you do, like, I call it the slow cooker budget. You just want to see what message is going to resonate with these folks. And you're looking at how much does it cost you to get a 95 to 100% video view. And right now it's cheap, so cheap. So you find the one that's, does the best, the most people are watching. That's your subject. That's the entry point into the conversation. It's not that the other videos are bad. No, it's just that there's always going to be one or two that very much sort of rise above the rest of the crowd. Okay, so so whatever pain point is happening in that video, that'll be the entry point to the conversation. You make more of those and just go with that. And that's your crystal ball. And so you can literally know exactly what your market needs to see. And the best part about this is, it's like, but I'm really not good at making videos. You don't, seriously, make them on a smartphone or like a webcam on your computer or something like that. You'll be just fine. In fact, there's been a lot of testing done that shows that professionally recorded videos do worse. That's because people are looking to identify with other people. That's definitely a big thing. So the next thing we get is, a lot of coach folk are saying, well, I do this content marketing. I already make videos. I already do this and it's not working. Why is this different? And the difference is in how you deploy the sequence, how you create the content, the structure of the content, along with the strategy behind how you're using it. So what you never want to do, which almost everybody does, is put out content for the sake of content. Back in the day, somebody said, you should, articles and videos and all this, put out helpful stuff and everyone will come to you. It's like, no, it does not work that way because there's just an ocean of noise. And so what you have to be is very strategic with the content. You have to be very helpful with the content, but you have to be building that audience based around the consumption of said content, all right? And so once you've established which video is getting your best cost per 100, 3 to 5 more under that same theme. And then what you do is you retarget those who consume the first video, follow up with the second, and then the third, et cetera, et cetera. You can see where I'm going with that. And then once somebody has started watching multiple videos, now you make the offer for them to join you on the webinar. And I highly recommend doing webinars because they give you an opportunity to show up as an authentic, real human being and further prove you can help them by actually helping them. All right, and so it lowers your ad costs dramatically. And this is through our own in-house testing. And you can sort of see this here. These are just a couple of Facebook videos that we were running. And like I said, we ran about $1,000 worth of testing. And the first two on the bottom up, those were to cold audiences and they were not conversational conversion. I want you to look at the difference. $764 and $821 per lead, meaning per subscriber, with only one sale. You can see that over there on website purchases on the right. However, those people who watch who we put through the conversational conversion process, $3.47 per lead, and we got 3 purchases. And so I want you to put this in the chat right now. Would you rather spend $3.47 per webinar registrant and get 3 sales for like 87 bucks, or spend like $8 plus per registrant and get 1 sale for just shy of $1,000? So put that in the chat. I want to make sure, because remember what I said at the beginning of this, and I know we had some people come on, so I want to just very quickly pause. We're having 3 segments tonight. Each segment is going to be followed by a Q&A, and each segment builds on the next. And so I want to make very, very sure that you are paying attention to all of this stuff. So is this making sense? Throw that in the chat and let me know if you can, if this is making sense for you. Awesome. Cool. All right. And by the way, we do have a little bit of a delay. Cool. Yes, everybody is. Yes, you are all. Exactly. So pretty much 100% of the folks are saying, yes, exactly. The answer is obvious. It is the first one. You want to get more, and it's beautiful. There you go. All right, so the net effect of giving your prospects really great stuff and proving you can help them by helping them is you stay on their minds because you help them and they want more from you. You create a very strong bond with them very quickly. They look forward to spending more time with you, and you pretty much remove any and all barriers or objections to working with you, meaning when the moment comes up, it's like, well, why should I work with this person over this person? They're like, well, totally going to work with this person because they really helped me. And what's interesting is almost every time, even when people are priced higher, in almost every time, people would rather do business with people that they know, like, and trust, even if the price is, even if there's a huge difference in price. But it gets better. So what's awesome is when you go and ask them to join their webinar, they're going to do it because they're looking forward to it. Because remember, they've consumed your content. They're like, wow, when is this person putting out more stuff? A webinar? Absolutely. Let's go in there. Because you've already helped them so far. So think about it. You can help them a ton more. And they know that you will. So really quickly, can you see how running this kind of marketing where you get people consuming your super helpful, spot on, awesome content that's really helping them is pretty much like them raising their hand and going, yeah, I like you and I want you to help more if you wouldn't mind. So there you go. So give your answer in the chat. Is this making sense here? Am I proposing that they pay for the webinar? Under no circumstances will you be charging them for the webinar. Absolutely not. All right, let me give you an example. So Paulina here, and I'm going to break down sort of the ins, outs, and all those different kinds of things of her particular situation. So her transformational outcome for her clients is she helps married women with children in high-stress corporate positions find balance in their lives. Awesome stuff. Her hurdles. So when she came to me, she was sort of a smoking wreckage. She does not have any sort of lead generation system. It was word of mouth only. Very bad, very bad. Billing hourly, also a horrible idea because it crushes you. The minute you become successful, you have what happened to her. She was crushed under the volume of her workload, meaning she was crushed by the weight of her own success. She had no filter between her and her clients. It was just, they would just blow up her phone like morning, noon, and night. It was crazy. She had no online presence at all, and she was completely unable to grow. She had literally gotten to the point where she had become as successful as was humanly, physically possible working like this, just from people going, oh, you got to call Paulina. You got to call Paulina. She'll help you out. It was pretty awesome. I don't know. Evidently, like high-level corporate ladies were talking around the water cooler or something. Her name kept coming up. So here's the plan that we put in place for her. Create the avatar of her perfect client. Map a 3 to 6 month multi-touch group program. Do 3 to 5 conversational conversion pain point videos. Create a webinar based on the success template. And then use those videos as ads. Then invite them to the webinar. Essentially, do what we just talked about, right? And so the transformational outcome. No more 80-hour work weeks. I mean, she was going pretty crazy, 10 to 15 hours max. An exact simplified schedule to deliver outcomes to her clients. And in part, I want to say 3 of this, if I'm remembering correctly, we're going to, end of part 2, we're going to talk about how you do this. And you'll see exactly how you can have a very simplified schedule. Take over 100 clients without breaking a sweat. No big deal. Able to grow to 250,000 to 400,000 a year within 12 to 18 months. I mean, it was much better. So does that sound like a better life? I'm very curious about that. If that's something that sounds a little bit better there, for your life as a coach on that kind of thing. All right. So really quickly, I can take a couple questions. We are at the end of section 1. We have 2 more sections to go. And also, is this helpful? Have you, so yeah, questions, and then let me know if there are, awesome. Cool. Yeah, let me know if there's anything, that what you're finding helpful, or if there's anything that you need clarity with, which I suppose would come in the form of a question. And also keep in mind there's a bit of delay. So I've got awesome. I'm glad this is helpful. Thank you very much. Yes. We have Shannon. Awesome. Thank you very much. All right, cool. So what I'm going to do really quickly is I'm going to go over the program. Like I told you, there's nothing tonight that you're going to be able to purchase. But if you want to apply for something, possibly you can. So it's up to you. I'm going to show you how to put this stuff into action. So tonight what we're doing on this is we are going to, let's see. Oh, yeah, Jason, just got a really good question here. But at what point do you start asking for the sale? Get into it. So what the first part was all about, very quickly, kind of give a quick recap. This first section is about the mindset that I want you to bring to your marketing. Number 1, you're talking to a single person. Like, obviously, it's many people, but you want to get that customer avatar, that individual that you best serve, for whom you can deliver the most transformational outcome. And then you create your marketing around that. And then, as I pointed out, you create a front-level group of videos. Those are your ads. You're looking for which conversation is going to work best. And then what you do is make more of those, follow them up. And then at the end of that, you invite them to the webinar and you sell something on the webinar. Well, you don't actually sell something. What you do is you very simply ask them if they want to come and, chat with you about it. I mean, I use the same thing. In fact, do what I'm doing. Let's put it that way, because I'm going to show you a program right now. And if you want, you can set up a time to chat about it. Like I said, there's nothing for you to buy on this thing, but you'll kind of but do what I'm doing. It works brilliantly. This is probably the absolute best, least friction. How would you say that? Least amount of friction I have ever found, which is why I've been doing this in this way for so many years. So everything I'm breaking down in this webinar, you literally just take the notes, take it, apply it to your business. So you do not need to be part of this program at all to make this work. That's not like some sort of like, oh, we'll unlock the keys to the universe. No, I'm giving you the keys to the universe, and you can take that and run with it. And so this is really for those who might be not, a little unsure as the steps, possibly worried about putting all the pieces together, or who want a team who does this to do it for them and get results a little bit faster. Well, we have a way to support you on that, and it's a done with you program. And I'm going to take a fast look at it. If you want to try it, you can set up a strategy call. We'll have a conversation. And, if not, no problem. And then what we'll do is we'll get into section 2. So really quickly, what's included, all of the marketing done for you. So we're going to map all the videos, based on you and your clients, what the kind of transformation you get them. And so you send it to us. We turn it into the ad for you. We work with you to lay out your client's journey. I like to say from hurt to healing, but it can also be from a success coach, from wherever they are to triumphant and all that, and basically laying out all the major pain points, breaking those down into each video. And that includes your ultimate webinar layout. We're going to create the custom target audiences in Facebook, manage your Facebook ads for the program, literally everything start to finish with testing. Help you customize your webinar, all slides, the stories, the presentations based around those of your client. Help you customize your strategy session, the landing page with questions. We're going to set up your automated scheduling so your prospects can set up those times to chat with you. All you have to do is literally show up, present, and record it. Is it? And then we will create a custom marketing ritual, which we're going to talk about in section 3 here, so you can get your ideal outcome on a consistent basis. So this is all based around 3 phases to maximize, and ROAS means return on ad spend. Stabilize. So that's where we map your perfect business model, your perfect stage 1 landing page, your offer, your audience, your messaging, your initial conversational conversion videos, your initial webinar, and your scheduling and your no sale close. The optimization strategy or section is where we then test and run the video ads, pushing traffic to your offer, getting data, making adjustments based on all the stuff that we're seeing, and then expand. And this is what's funny about expand is that's where everybody wants to go first. But without the first 2, expand does not work. And so once now we have a healthy, positive return on ad spend, we're now going to expand into more traffic sources, such as getting you on relevant podcasts as a guest, LinkedIn, Pinterest traffic, media buys. It'll depend because everybody's a little bit different in their ideal traffic points. But it all starts with Facebook because that's pretty much where everyone lives. And so the bottom line of this is, we're going to use our formula to grow your business with you so you can keep your income going consistently. So if you're tired of that inconsistent cash flow, you might want to consider letting us do this system for you that I'm presenting now. So if you qualify, we actually guarantee a minimum of $250,000 in new clients over the next 12 to 18 months. And you let us do the heavy lifting on that. So either way, you're going to be permanently eliminating any sort of the cash flow up and down, the feast or famine like that. So if you want us to do this, the total cost of the program is $25,000, but it's set up in a very interesting way. Your initial stage into the program is only $6,250 to start, but the rest, and what that does is that covers the hard costs for us to set up the entire thing. So we're literally building this for you. And the rest is 100% based on your success, meaning we literally don't turn a profit unless you do. And like I said, no fine print, and completely guaranteed results. And so if you don't like it, you don't even have to pay the balance. There's no contracts, nothing like that. You get to keep all of the assets we created. And so if you like the sound of the program, you can check out lifecoachrocket.com/apply. And it's a 30 to 45 minute strategy session to see if it's a good fit. If it's not, No problem. You're going to walk away with literally a customized blueprint based on everything that we're going to cover tonight. And so what we're going to do is we're going to spend time deep diving into your business goals, seeing where you are, where you want to go, seeing if you can knock it out of the park or if we can knock it out of the park with you. And there's no charge at all for that call. And so if you are sick of the inconsistent cash flow, maybe consider, letting a team who knows what they're doing help you work on your business, not in it. And we'll kind of run through this whole thing. So the reality is with every successful coach is that, they have the consistency of a professional team to help implement on their behalf. And so the real only thing standing between you and the life and the business that you want is the ability to leverage your time and your focus. And so when you work with us, there's no need to train. So if you've been in this position where you've had to hire people before, you don't have to. You don't have to hire, train, manager, onboard everybody. There's no payroll. There's no payroll taxes and all that junk. It's just we have done it all for you. And so if this sounds like something that you'd like to do, that would be awesome. There's not a lot of hype on this. You could set up a time to chat at lifecoachrocket.com/apply. And so the question is, are these strategy sessions worth it? I just lost my job, was living at my parents' house for the winter, put everything you taught me to use. I'm now closing in on about $200,000 in sales for the year. Paula Seymour. So, yes, I would say they're definitely worth it. And as we go on, you're going to see bigger and bigger, crazier things that people have accomplished simply by having the call. All right. 3 steps to earning more. This is how to get people like your clients to be extremely happy to pay you all sorts of fun things. Number 1, you have to believe in your message. It absolutely. That imposter syndrome, and that's something that we get to talk to a lot of folks about when they're doing this, is like, how do you get to the point where you can charge those kinds of numbers? Fear of rejection, making the big offer, that kind of thing. It's actually very simple. I'll give you the sort of script that we use. Airline safety rules. This is very fun. This is very fun stuff. When you're well-funded, you're vastly better at helping others. I'll show you a picture of some fun stuff in a second. So it's one of those things. Assist your kid, and then you can assist yourself, and then you're way better to save your children in that kind of situation. So you're investing in your future at that point. And then the 5 on fire, 5OF. I'm a big fan of acronyms. Micro-focus on your ideal client. One message to the one person means that you have the perfect solution for them. If you then want to expand after, you can do that. So like I said, stabilize, optimize, expand. And that's why you have to, at the beginning, focus on the one person, because then you stabilize it. So to kick this off, we have to cover the various levels of commitment. This has a lot to do with why a lot of folks end up chasing clients. And so if you remember how I started all this stuff off, how it's going to build on previous sessions, we're right. This is where it really begins. So the 2 main problems coaches have is that they're either chasing prospects instead of being chased by prospects. They aren't using conversational conversion, and they're going after the wrong pain levels in the marketplace. So if you spend a lot of time sort of like, talking with prospects who aren't joining your program, I don't know what your sales process is specifically, but this will very much open your eyes as to why. All right, pain awareness levels. Here we go. Somewhat aware. They are aware they have a problem. That's like a sleeping person with an itch, sort of absently scratching at their neck kind of thing. Aware they have an issue. They're mildly looking for a solution, sort of, kind of. They have been seeking a solution and are now buying solutions. So that's the SB. My favorites are the number 4. They are a purchased mess because they have bought just about everything. They've heard just about every kind of thing you can possibly imagine. They're running around, like I like to call them, headless chickens in an electric fence factory. And then you have the 5 on fire. They're on fire. They're frustrated. They're overwhelmed. They are at the point where they are literally believing that there's nobody out there who can help them at all. And so you want to focus very much at your 5 on fires and almost have a very calming conversation with them. And so you see how that works. If you're going after people that aren't at the right level, almost like having, when someone asks you what you do at a cocktail party, you tell them, or do we even have cocktail parties anymore? I don't know why I use that analogy. But you tell them what they do, and then it's like, oh, yeah, they might say something back like, oh, you have that. I could really help you. Here's my card. Doesn't work like that. Excuse me. So when you focus on your 5 on fires, here's how we do this. The language in your videos is literally calling out to these folks. And one example could be, if you tried X, Y, and Z, has it not worked for you? You know, so if you are in this position, you've had this pain, chances are you're trying to fix it, and you've gone and read a bunch of blog posts, watched a bunch of videos, probably bought a bunch of books. Hasn't helped. And you essentially want to ignore the 95% of the market who doesn't really fall into that 5 on fire kind of level. Now, I'm not saying ignore them, and I'll explain this in a second. But your message sequencing, including this webinar of yours, it's to discourage anyone who's not quite there from, you know, working with you at this level because they aren't ready for it yet. You know, because you want people who are going to be taking action. And you're not scraping them off your shoe, all right? So what these videos and this entire process is designed to do is generate a lot of goodwill. It builds respect in the marketplace, and it really helps you attract the right people. And then as those others move through the process, they also, because they probably consumed your content, are then going to be like, oh, I remember that. This, you know, Becky, she was super helpful. So anyway, don't take it. We're not taking advantage of vulnerable people here. What we're talking about with the 5 on fires is that they immediately see the benefit in the solutions that you're offering them. And they don't need to be convinced at all that they have a problem. Like, convincing someone they have a problem is a big problem. But, you know, sometimes people with problems, you have to convince them they have a solution. They're not ready for it yet. All right. And so this takes the whole sales situation out of this equation because they're already sold when they come to you. So the best outcome, which is awesome on this, is, and this is a big point about why people are getting long-term clients from using this specific method, it's because when you put the marketing first, when you put this conversational conversion first, you're moving the 3s, the 4s, and sometimes even the upper level 2s, because these are the people who are going to be maybe 30, 60, 90 days out and that kind of thing. You want to keep that stuff in mind. So I want you to imagine about this, that when you finally get to the point where you're going to then sell something to somebody, there's no complainers, no tire kickers, no long calls with any sales. You don't have to like shake the tree. The tree almost shakes itself, and you keep this steady stream of new, hot, pre-sold leads coming in. All right. And so because they've consumed your content multiple times, they already know, like, and trust you because they see you as the one who can help them. And so, like I was saying, airline safety income, it's like all you have to do is adjust it with one simple tweak. And I know there's lots of weird, you know, the best photo I could find of any sort of flight attendant looking person, but I just wanted to drive the point home. The reason that you want to be able to do this is because, and by doing this, I'm talking about using conversational conversion to close a high-ticket program, is because when your needs are met financially, you are absolutely better off. You can completely help other people. It's so much easier for you to be in that sort of authentic place and really deliver on that. So what happens, though, if you're not, you get what I like to call cash flow hypoxia. And so the symptoms of that are going to be taking on the wrong clients because you need the money, being totally overworked because you took on too many clients because you didn't make enough from the small number that you did have to cover your needs, starting off months where you don't know where your next payday is going to come from, lowering your prices past where you're comfortable because you just needed the sale, and not being your best or being able to help the clients because, you know, in the back of your mind, sometimes even the front of your mind, you're kind of running around going, it's awful. So here's the cure. Simplify. You have to simplify. There's no need to make this complex. And then raise your prices. So let's look at the simplification. Now let's run through this really quick. Identify your perfect customer. Identify their pain points. Create your conversational conversion and run them as ads. Retarget those who are watching 95 to 100% of them. Invite them to your webinar. End of webinar, offer a free consultation. Send them to the forum. Tell them your price on the forum page or directly in the webinar. Either way works great. Because the goal there is you tell them what it is, what it's going to do for them, and how much it costs. Because guess what? If somebody schedules a call with you, they are completely informed and they know that you can help them. And then have the call and decide if it becomes a good fit. Because here's the reality. Whenever I do these things in any of the programs that I have, I'm not selling the client at all, ever. The client is selling me because I already know what I'm able to do and my team is able to do. And so it's like, you know, but there's certain pieces of it. And same thing in every level of coaching is if your client doesn't do the work, then it's not going to work. You know what I mean? So you're really screening for that. And what's awesome is it has completely flipped the situation around on its head. And there's your close. So would you like me to help you with that? There you go. That's all you have to do at that point. So you don't need a bunch of crazy sales copy. You don't need some weird webinar, some fancy salesy webinar kind of thing. You don't need any of the bells and whistles that the vast majority of people say that you do. You just need to have a very calm, conversational-based process. And then you just keep doing it. And it's that last piece right there. And this is where, like, I want to say 99% of people fall over, because we see a lot of people do it once, get some results, but then they stop doing it. It's very strange. So higher prices mean you're going to be weeding out the tire kickers. You're only going to get people who are going to be serious about seeing results. All right, so this means these people are going to show up, they're going to be committed, they're going to follow your instructions, and they're going to transform their lives. And at the end of the day, because they made that commitment, you then get these amazing people who you really like working with. It's actually quite cool. So you also need less. You have less people that you need to focus on. And so instead of having your focus scattered all over everywhere, you're just with like a small number of people. I'll actually show you the math on this in a second. And you can reach your income goals faster. Far fewer people. So let's give an example here. Now you have a $5,000 program. And if you want to add, $250,000 to $400,000 to your bottom line over the next 12 to 18 months, yeah, it's less than 5 clients per month. It's actually 4.2 on that kind of thing. So this is why it's easier to hit your goals than selling, say, a $7 ebook or some cheap course, and especially an hourly program, because you can't scale. You're trading dollars for hours kind of thing. With this one, you are able to leverage. And so you get to, provide amazing value in the market, create stunning volumes of goodwill, and help thousands of people change their lives, and at the same time get paid for it. And so even those people who can't afford, or maybe they're not right yet, or they aren't ready, you've become their trusted advisor. And so one day when they're ready, they're gonna jump. And I mentioned that earlier. It's like, that's the person. It's like you become the person they think of. So when this is done correctly, when you combine conversational conversion marketing method with a healthy transformational offer, you don't need a lot of clients to hit your income goals at all. So I'm going to prove this with math. And the reason I want to show you this right now is because so often, you're thinking, oh, wow, I need like 55 clients over 12 months. Well, 55 kind of sounds like a big number. But let me show you this. So this is just a basic inside of the Facebook ads dashboard here. This is showing men and women 35 to 54 from a general manager on up. And so these are corporate job titles, meaning this would be like, possibly a career success coach or something like that. So there's 310,000 of them. And there's actually way more. And that's 35 to 54, like I said. So in order for you to earn $250,000, you would need to close 0.02% over the course of 12 to 18 months. That's 55 out of 310,000. So you don't need, this is not one of those situations like a lot of times folks, when I'm talking to them, there's a thought in the back of their head that this is going to be an overwhelming numbers game. It's not at all. All right, let's look at a different one here. We have married women 35 to 54, children living in the top 10%, with children living in the top 10% income of U.S. households. Married. So what does that say? They're probably stressed out and they're angry at their husbands. There's probably like a marital kind of thing or a relationship kind of thing. 1.1 million of them. That's less than 0.01%. I mean, it's probably 0.001% at that point. So once again, 55 people out of 1.1 million possible. And this is why we narrow the focus, because then you can really find what you're looking for. Let's look at another fun one here. Married men, 35 to 54, children living in the top 10%. Household income. So typical guys, probably bordering on some level of like midlife crisis, probably overwhelmed at work, also all sorts of different things. I mean, the story is pretty normal with that kind of demographic, especially once you have kids. I have children. I can totally speak to this. It gets a little crazy and stuff like that. So 770,000 of them to earn $250,000, in your year, 0.01%. That's it. So 55 out of 770,000. So the bottom line here is when you have that consistent relationship-based marketing and you're running this process that sells a high-ticket transformational program, you don't need to be knocking it out of the park every time to really have an amazing life, and compare that really to selling courses and doing all of those low-cost books. And so it's really a simple, very universal truth that when you can provide for your own financial needs, it literally transforms you into the best version of yourself, so that you can truly focus on others and their needs, and you can overcome obstacles and help them overcome their obstacles, and you have total confidence in your ability to do it. So does that kind of sound like what you want? So like, let me know that in those little questions and comments area, and then I'll get into this. This is how you create the high ticket program. And I'm super curious, is anyone here tonight already selling a high ticket program? I would very much like to know. And then what price point do you have at it, and who do you service? So what exactly is this, and how do you create one? So a high ticket program is a very intensive one-on-one or one-to-many coaching program, priced somewhere in the neighborhood of $3,000 to $5,000, sometimes even higher, depending. And they can run from anywhere from 3 to 12 months. And it has a very specific client achieve a very specific outcome using your best methods. This is why we're like, zoop, and focus right on that one person so we can have that conversation. And so it's so vital to cater to that. And so in a group environment, I really like the high ticket group stuff, because what it allows you to do is focus on patterns of behavior. So as I was rattling off those demographics a little while ago, there's always a universal sort of umbrella problem that those people have, all right? And so what you then do is identify that and use your best methods and practices to walk them through the process of, either healing or rising up or getting their power back or something like that. All right, so this works brilliantly because human beings are pattern machines. And when you're narrowly focused, you get to see that constantly. It's very specific patterns. So example, are going to be married women with high-level corporate positions, once again, who want to reconnect with their husbands in spite of their overwhelming travel schedule. Probably have similar circumstances, a lot of career pressure, crazy schedule that is more than likely going to be like, oh, Brenda, we need to send you to Madagascar immediately. That kind of thing. They probably have similar emotional experiences. So the, constantly needing to separate from their husband as they know they're getting further and further apart from a relationship standpoint, probably very common. They've probably tried very similar tactics. There's probably already people talking to them, or they're trying to see maybe a therapist or something like that. And their husbands are probably exhibiting similar symptoms. We'll leave it at that. So what you do is you write down their list of the biggest problems. Where are they now? Write down the steps they need to take to get to where they want to be. Write down the tactics, beliefs, and processes they need to do at each step. And then write down what success indicators look like for them at each stage. So when you have done this successfully, an indication from your spouse or whatever situation that you should be seeing is blah, 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 blah. I mean, if these are the people you deal with, that you obviously know that you've been doing it for a few years. But you want to see what those success indicators are. And so then how you deliver this program is each step is laid out. And it's going to be the focus of, and it's your call, 1 or 2 weeks, depending on how involved that particular situation is. So example, you're going to do like a Zoom or webinar jam thing. You're going to talk about, week 1 is the overview of the program. And then you're going to get into step 1. You take some questions. I always recommend you have some action steps that they will turn in via email. It's a great way for them to unlock like a little bit of one-on-one with you. And then Friday of that week or the following week or however you want to do it, you have a Q&A, sort of like maybe even a hot seat, and you go in depth to all the questions. And then you keep doing it like that. So Monday, week 2, or Tuesday, or whatever the schedule needs to be. It doesn't have to be Monday. You recap the last step. You talk about the action steps that were turned in, and then you teach step 2 and give new action steps. And then you kind of make sure that everybody is following along. So week 2, you run a Q&A. Exactly. And so on and so on and so on. So this whole program then is very simply framed around the process that you already take people through. There you go. So in groups, to help them get as much personal attention as they need, what you can do is give them access to you via email. And then in your life, so you don't get overwhelmed by that, you do what's called batching, which is you just compartmentalize it. just, 2 hours a day or 1 hour a day or whatever you want to do, just answer those emails. It's actually pretty simple to do that. And you can also provide one-on-one if they're in a crisis state when they complete their action items. And then you can do, if you want, provide group support via Facebook group. And what's amazing about Facebook groups is how much help the community can be when you have like the students in there, and they take a lot of work off your shoulders, which is nice. So in 100% of these situations, you should always focus on getting them their desired outcome. And then those who put in the work, reward them with a little bit extra help, if they need it. I think not everybody needs it, but it's definitely cool. So how long is this? And the answer is just kind of however long it needs to be. I would say for massive transformational effect to not only take effect, but also to become a habit, you're going to want to be talking about at least 3 months where they find their value and stuff like that. And so a great way to frame it is take the 90 days, get your passion back challenge kind of thing. And there's a great way to lead up to this. I'll just give you the whole marketing concept right now. Is you literally fire up like a free Facebook group for this particular situation. And then within you market that program and you give tons of great advice. And you're like, hey, here's the challenge. Here's all the steps that we're going to do. And if anybody wants some personal help, you can come in here and we'll do one-on-one and blah, blah, blah. And then you take like a certain amount of people every 9 days. Remember, you only need 55 to be able to hit 250,000. So if you did this 4 times a year, you would start off, it's like, I could only take 10. You learn and grow. And then you kind of like, move on from there. So here's some tools you can use. For the group calls, you use Zoom or Webinar Jam. 100 people can be live in the room on Zoom. Facebook groups, private, members only. Simple email, and that's not a kind of email. It's literally just simple email. For example, I'm in groups like this where we just communicate via Gmail addresses. And then you just use that for any back and forth communication. And to accept payments, PayPal, Stripe. I use Thrivecart, big fan of Thrivecart, love it. It's a great cart. And to upload and record the sessions, you can use a content protection area like Teachable, and then Vimeo, so it'll stream videos from Vimeo while not letting them be downloaded and pirated and that kind of thing. So what's great about this is you can literally scale this up and have as many as 100 clients in a single session, and it's just gonna be like talking to one person, and then you just massage the program and make adjustments based on all of that kind of stuff. So here's how you roll out. So this is what I was just talking about. You'll be able to open up a new group probably every 90 days. And then the first time, maybe take 5 or 6. And then from there, as you hone your messaging, as your teaching practices and you get comfortable delivering like this, you just start like making a couple of adjustments. And so as your marketing is going to be going on consistently in the background, you're going to end up with this wait list, I guess you could call it, of very excited prospects. And so those, it just keeps growing and growing and growing. And then when you open up the doors, you end up getting even more people into your program than you did the last time. It's really cool. So the end result of this here shenanigan, you have a highly simplified, extremely lucrative business set up to actually help thousands of people who didn't even buy from you. And because you're sending out so much positive goodwill into the market, a lot of your new fans, even if some of those who don't buy from you, are going to send you more business. And there's obviously a bunch more that we've talked about here. So any questions on this one really quickly? Let me see here. That is how you create your high ticket program and all of those super, super fun things. So if there are no, take a quick look here. Give me just a moment here. We're getting a little technical flashing on the dashboard here. And remember, there's a couple second delay. Excellent. All right, cool. All right, looks like you guys are all good. Awesome. So if anything comes up, let's see. Awesome. Cool. So like I said, this is broken into 3 sections. I'm just going to literally rip through this section very quickly because I want to get to the next piece of content. So like I said tonight, you can, oh, there's Jason again. Hey, what's up? You can absolutely take all this stuff. There's no need to buy anything whatsoever because you can just take it and apply it. But if you want if you want people to do this with you and for you, we have that set up for you. And so it's a completely done with you program where we do all of the heavy lifting at it. And so I'll break it down really quickly. All the marketing, we're going to map all the videos. We're going to help you map the videos, the clients, really nail that ideal client. So all you have to do is record, you send it to us, we turn it into your ad, and we run those. We work with you to lay out your client's journey, meaning what is the program, and then what is the webinar, all that kind of stuff. So lay out all the major pain points, break those down into each video, create your custom target audiences, manage your Facebook ads for this program, start to finish, including testing, and then we'll help you customize your webinar, all slide stories and presentations based around your ideal client, help you customize your strategy session landing page with questions. Then we're going to help you set up your automatic scheduling system so that they can set up times to chat. All you literally have to do is show up and record it. And then we will create that custom marketing ritual plan so that you have that consistent ideal outcome. So it is very much here to help you eliminate inconsistent cash flow. And you can just present the program that is done by us, presented by you. And if you qualify, we guarantee a minimum of $250,000 in new clients over the next 12 to 18 months. And we can do all the heavy lifting on that matter for you. So either way, you're going to eliminate the cash flow problem, whether you want us to do it, whether you do it yourself, as long as you implement it. Keep in mind, you got to implement it. And so the cost for this is a total of $25,000, but you only have to do $6,250 in the beginning to cover our expenses, and the rest is literally, if we can't succeed with this, we literally have no money in this game. It's crazy. So there's no fine print. No, we do guarantee results on that. And so if you're not satisfied, you don't have to pay the balance. There's no contracts on any of this. Even if you make the money, you get to keep all the assets. So it's included. Once again, the 3 phases: stabilize, where we're going to map the entire process out. We're going to build your perfect stage 1 landing page, host the site, do all that fun stuff with you. Map out all the conversational conversion videos, give you the webinar template, map that stuff out. We'll do the scheduling page, and then the no sales close. Optimize it. We're going to test, run the video ads, push traffic to your offer, getting data, make adjustments, and then expand, the super sexy part. And then that's once we have established positive return on investment. Now we're going to move into more traffic sources, such as getting you on podcasts, LinkedIn, Pinterest traffic, and media buys, which is basically like really big email lists. And so we have access to tons of that stuff. It's super fun. And so this is a proven formula that can help grow your business because we implement consistently, which is something that a lot of folks still struggle with. Is, sometimes we'll have a lot of clients come in and they forget to market, and a month or two later, it's like, oh, so what we do is keep this going in the background. So we do it. So if you want, you could actually email us to support@lifecoachrocket.com. And I'll send you the link to this, but I'll also give it to you at the end if you want. It's going to be a 45-minute, completely free. You don't have to pay for the session at all. And if it's a good fit, great. If it's not a good fit, don't worry about it, because you'll walk away with everything that I'm showing you tonight. I will help you lay that out during that call. There's no charge, just your time. We'll just skip that. So the reality of this thing is that the difference between those who struggle and those who don't is that typically those who don't have a team in place. And now that can be very difficult to do on your own. And what we're offering for is literally for a minute fraction of what it would cost to hire, train, manage a team of people. You don't have to do any of that because we've already taken care of it for you on that. So if you'd like if you'd like to work with a team that can help you deliver consistent sales and outcome, we'd love to talk to you. So once again, that's, lifecoachrocket.com/apply, or email support@lifecoachrocket.com. Once again, are these things worth it? Love Dale, good dude. Went from $20,000 to $100,000 a month with the strategy that I laid out for him. What he said was, I scheduled a business consult with him after seeing his webinar, came to realize something. Johnny Andrews is the real deal and is much more than a marketing expert, a bona fide rock star. You're sweet. And the business consulting arena has the depth of knowledge and experience to truly revolutionize your bottom line. Good times. And the guy took a lot of the advice I gave him, and he actually did it. So part 3, let's get some sales here, shall we? How to rapidly grow your coaching business. Once again, I want to recap because we've covered a bunch of stuff. So you learn how to stand out in the market using conversational conversion. There's nobody else doing it. Learn how to target your exact customer for the perfect message clarity, and how to structure your coaching program so it's a one-to-many, and now it's from a one-on-one to a one-to-many. Learn how to set up your conversational conversion marketing and webinar, attract the best possible high-ticket clients. And now you have everything you need for the high-ticket program so you can grow and scale and deliver results and outcomes to your clients while having an amazing life and all that kind of stuff. So there's 3 keys. 3 keys. First of all, you have to target that one avatar that we've talked about. So create that step-by-step program you can teach on a schedule. And it's very true. 1 in 1,000 people, it's almost exactly the same. And then having a marketing schedule broken down daily, weekly, monthly actions. And then you take those actions, well, every day or every week or every month. And so consistency in this wins 100% of the time. And so here's your effective marketing plan. The purpose of this is to help you bring in this consistent flow of new prospects who you take through a process where some of them will become clients. Remember, not all of them are going to become clients. Every time I talk to someone, they don't all become clients, but some of them do. And this breaks down when it's not used systematically and consistently. And this is where you start seeing the up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, feast, famine kind of cycles. All right, so daily actions, these are going to be small and often use sort of like template-y kind of stuff. Or they're paid ads. I love paid ads. I'm a big fan of paid ads. Weekly action, they might take an hour or so, but they have this really nice compounding effect on everything that you do, like referral partners. And then monthly action, these are hands-on. They require sometimes relationship building, but they have a major compounding effect also. And so on this one, you want to think like maybe reaching out to associations or larger organizations that are already speaking to your ideal prospects. So the ultimate goal on this is that you develop these rituals. And it very much is rituals. It's sort of, like in any religion, you got rituals you got to do every day, like washing hands. I guess that's just normal hygiene, and that way your income's never in question. So you want to also have multiple channels running so that you can, as you grow and as you expand, you can have all of these areas bringing in multiple eyeballs. And this is something from, Abraham's? Can't even remember. I'm looking. It's getting late. I can't remember. Jay Abraham, that's who it was, who coined the marketing Parthenon. And as you can see, this would look super strange if there was only one pillar holding it up. But the reason the Parthenon is so strong and this thing has lasted the test of time is because each one of those pillars represents a pillar of your marketing. And so one of those could be Facebook, another one could be LinkedIn, another could be media buys, another could be podcast guesting. And you're doing those consistently, layering and layering and layering. And that's the difference between success and failure. So your daily rituals, let's do like conversational conversion Facebook ads. So you push your videos as content, you retarget people, consume them with the offer to join your webinar. And so then you spend money so you don't have to do it daily by hand. LinkedIn, very manual, but it can be highly effective, especially because you can you use a piece of software called Sales Navigator. And now, obviously, this depends on who you're coaching on this one. And Jason, since you put a bunch of stuff in the chat there, tell me who you work with specifically. 20 reach outs per day. That's usually what we recommend. And then something like Pinterest. Pinterest is the most insane driver of traffic. In fact, what was funny is I didn't look at a number of sites that I have for, I want to say, literally 2 years. And we have a Pinterest account that just sort of let it just go. Kind of was like, whatever. I'm not focused here. And it gets 55,000 monthly views still. And it is the second largest driver of traffic to our site. And so you bet your butt. I was like, what? I didn't even know. And I went back in there, and now we have a whole team and a standard operating procedure for Pinterest because it's a pretty impressive search engine. All right, weekly marketing. Reach out to 10 to 15 podcasts to be a guest. Huge. I do a ton of these things. I've probably been on at least 200 shows at this point. And then you can reach out to 5 to 7 media partners or, say, Facebook group owners or industry associations. And to see, hey, and it's always a value proposition. Remember, conversational conversion has to permeate everything that you do, including this. It's like, hey, I'd really like to tap into your traffic and give you, no, don't say that. It's like, I really like what you're doing. I wanted to see, can I provide you some unique content for your partners? How about this? I'll write up an article, have it ghost written, and, have a really good article done for them that's completely unique and, give it to them. And if they publish it, great. If they don't, no problem. All right. So monthly marketing rituals, media buys, renting newsletter blasts. 2 good places for this. Littman Brothers, awesome group of dudes. They are list brokers, and the Nextmark is another place where you can find very hyper-targeted lists, and you always want to get what's called an endorsed email. It's very important, all right? Or an industry-wide giveaway. This is amazing for lead gen. In fact, one of our ecosystems where we work with authors, we're running, I want to say, close to 200 of these things right now. It is absolutely insane. So we've been able to deliver almost over 3 million leads for these nice folks. So here's the net effect of that. So by taking this consistent, conversationally conversioned daily action, you can literally have, you're like 30 to 45 days away from your next high ticket client. Now that's after you've set up your infrastructure. Like you need your infrastructure set up, and then you start taking these marketing rituals, and within 30 to 45 days, you're going to be closing them, seriously. And so let's break it down again. Identify your exact perfect customer avatar and the transformational outcome you can get for them. Identify all of their pains and the steps needed to take them from where they are to where they want to be. Create the conversational conversion video series. Run it as your marketing. Retarget those that consume it with an offer to attend your webinar for your high-ticket group coaching program. Create your daily, weekly, monthly marketing rituals and stick to them consistently. Voila! Generate $250,000 to $400,000 over the next 12 to 18 months. Literally, that's how you do it. Right there. Very, very simple. Like I said at the beginning of this, I wanted to simplify your business model. This absolutely will simplify your business model when you do it. And the outcome of consistent action of using conversational conversion is that you'll end up generating $250,000 to $400,000 over the next 12 to 18 months. And so I'm going to show you an example of one of our clients who's in the program. Great dude, Matthew Thrush, transformational outcome for his clients. Had a step-by-step coaching program helping authors and writers generate at least 6 figures doing what they love, meaning writing for a living, which is very hard to do. His biggest hurdles: didn't have a system for leads, did not have a proven process for turning those leads into sales, was struggling in a one-on-one business model, and he had no traffic. So there was literally nothing. He was just kind of sitting there. He had a couple of people that had sort of heard about him. And I was like, okay. So how we got him in the game. Who's your single most perfect client? What is the most desired outcome for them? What are the 3 major hurdles stopping your perfect client from reaching their most desired outcome? 3 biggest hurdles for them, meaning his client. Having the right mindset, the scarcity versus abundance. There was a ton of scarcity mindset in that marketplace. Believing they can do it. That was a big one too. We had to show them you can actually pull off the shenanigans. So small steps over time equal big results and confidence building, much like this webinar here. All right, charging what you're worth, knowing what you need to charge. This was an interesting thing where a lot of the stuff I'm teaching here was passed through to him, to his clients and things like that. It's like, hey, you don't need to write a novel for somebody for $250. You can charge $30,000. It's okay. You can totally do it. So what are the steps for transformation? All right. Daily action to solidify an abundance mindset. Micro actions to build the client pipeline, meaning provide value first, just like I'm teaching you. And then charge what you're worth. Customize, you have a very successful proven template that you just use with that. And so how we rolled out, we created a webinar based on the conversational conversion model. So engage, educate, offer. Recorded the conversational conversions around the pain points and provided solutions in advance. Uploaded the videos, ran them with ads, and invited them to the webinar. Followed up with the webinar invite. So what were the results? Well, really quickly, he got like $3,000 out of that. Then he got $5,000, and then he hit at $25,000. And the best results. This thing, I think my thing just went dead. Let's see. Is it working? Hold on a second. Technical difficulty. Oh, there we go. Whatever. We'll skip that slide. Evidently, it didn't want to upload. He now has a $5,000 per seat, one-to-many coaching program that is after they take certain action steps and they prove they completed them. He'll do like a 30-minute one-on-one with them. He's already collected. There's been 33,000 in sales with 40,000 in sales, 33,000 collected, 7,000 in recurring billing. He now has a stable daily flow of pre-sold leads into his webinar, and roughly every 20 registrations that he gets, it usually results in someone completing the application. He doesn't do a call until after they've completed the application because he puts a very large step. It's this huge thing because he's looking for a very specific, super dedicated kind of person right there. But the best part, honestly, is that he and his wife are like way more chill than they used to be. He was very broke a while ago. Very, very broke. All right. So the full blueprint breakdown. Let's regurgitate this again. Narrowly define your most perfect Most Ideal Client outlines step-by-step group of one or high-tick program where you can help them achieve their best outcome. The price point of that should be somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000. You're going to list out their 3 to 5 most pressing problems. How do they feel about problems? What are some of the stories you can share to show and help illustrate that you understand? Then you create a series of 3 to 6 minute videos. You connect with them. You identify with the problem. And you offer short, actionable solutions. So, like, the 3 steps to fix this, that, and the other thing. You run those videos as your ads, then you create those audiences based off of people who have watched them. Target the people who watch your videos with another series of videos. Follow up that with a invite to join you on the webinar. On that webinar, you once again present a ton of value, bonding content, and then offer them a one-on-one call to see if they might be a good fit for your program. You set up a narrowly focused, high-impact, results-based coaching program that you open every 90 days to more people. Keep these daily, weekly, monthly marketing rituals going, and then eventually you're going to look back in 12 to 18 months and realize you just added $250,000 or more to your bottom line and literally helped thousands of people in the process. So that's what it all is. So I'm going to go over the program one last time, and then I'm going to take all your questions. So while I'm doing this, if you want to throw those questions in the thing, awesome. So for the 3rd time and last time, this tonight has been, if you took notes, you can absolutely put all this stuff into action. There's nothing here that you absolutely need to do. This is literally for people who want to, who see this as, that understand you need to be able to grow to the level you want to get to. It's extremely helpful to have a team. In fact, it's kind of vital to have a team. And if you don't want to spend tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars hiring and training and creating the standard operating procedures and stuff like that, and being a leader to the team, we can help you do that for you. So these are, and also for folks who might be intimidated by the steps involved, worried about putting the pieces together. And if you want to, we have a program where we can support you. And it's a done with you program, and I'll break it down. So really quickly, all the marketing videos mapped out based on you, your clients. All you have to do is record, send it to us. We turn it into your ad, so all that conversational conversion. So we're going to work with you to lay out your client's journey from the beginning to where they want to be. Lay out the major pain points and then break those down in each video. We're going to create your custom and target audiences in Facebook. Manage all of those campaigns, start to finish, including testing. We'll set up your help you customize your webinar, all the slides, the stories, the presentations based around you and your ideal client. Help you customize your strategy session, landing pages with questions. Help you set up your automated schedules so that your prospects can set up times to chat. All you have to do is show up, present it, and record it. And we will then help you customize that marketing ritual based on your ideal outcome. So if you're tired of inconsistent cash flow, allow us to help you create your own life coach rocket system done by us and presented by you. So if you qualify, we literally guarantee you a minimum of $250,000 in new clients over the next 12 to 18 months. Remember, this is not like a boom. Please don't think that. This does take time to build and ramp up because it's an actual business. So we can do all the heavy lifting for you. And either way, this will help you permanently eliminate a lot of that up and down cash flow problem that so many people experience. So if you want us to do all the heavy lifting, where you just show up as the voice and the client relations, the total investment is $25,000. Your initial piece of that is $6,250 to start. That covers the expenses to build everything that we're going to build, to have the team put it all together. The rest comes out of us generating results for you. And you see there's guaranteed results, and there's literally no fine print on that. So if you don't like it, for whatever reason, you don't have to pay the balance. Even if you make the money, you can keep it, and you can keep all the assets we built. Obviously, what we'll do is we won't be able to work with you anymore. We'll transfer everything over to you, but those things will all be yours. So what's included? We have the 3 stages. Stabilize. That's where we're mapping all of this, putting together the stage 1, all the messaging, all the conversational conversions, figuring all that out, testing it, scheduling all of those fun things so that we can move them from the ad to the click to the webinar to listening to you to then going to the call and all those things that you need. And then we're going to then test and run the videos as ads, pushing your traffic to your offer, getting data, making adjustments, and we then adjust that based on what we're seeing. And then once we have this nice, healthy return on ad spend, now we're going to move into more and more traffic sources, get that Parthenon thing that you saw just a couple of minutes ago. And the bottom line is, our formula works. I've showed you that it works with clients, with other folks and things like that. So this is how you keep the cash flow coming in consistently. So if this sounds like something you'd like to do, you can either email me at support@lifecoachrocket.com and set up your free 45-minute strategy call. If it's not a fit, don't sweat it, because what ends up happening is you will get, based on everything that we're doing, I'll be able to walk you through everything we went through tonight, but actually have it personalized to your business. So there's no charge, just your time. And so if you'd rather start working on your business rather than in it, this might be something for you to consider. And so what every successful coach has is the consistency and a professional team that implement on their behalf. In fact, every successful business owner. And so the only thing really standing between where you are and where you want to be is getting that team in a lot of ways. And so when you work with us, you don't need to go through all the pain and suffering of training, hiring, managing, onboarding, because we've done all that stuff for you. So if you're ready for that, we'd love to talk to you. And so even if you're unsure, you can set up time to chat. Support@lifecoachrocket.com. So are these worth it? Got my sales up to $100,000 a month after taking up some of the methods I learned from you. Abby Weeks, great lady. So there you go. That's all we got for tonight. Thank you for joining us. If you have questions, absolutely let me know. To set up your call, if this sounds like it's a good fit for you, lifecoachrocket.com/apply. And I noticed what was interesting. There was a great many people who came in about an hour late. So I think the time might have been a little miscalculated or translated, or perhaps they were in Europe or something like that. So remember, there's a 20-second delay here. But, and hopefully I answered all the questions that were in this thing. So if you are good, I'll get out of here, but I will hang here for just another minute. And yes, it is absolutely true. Yes, it is. We do guarantee 250,000 in new high-ticket clients. And the reason why, and I covered this in the webinar, but I want to kind of circle back to it, where I showed you all of those numbers that are out there. It's like you need 0.01%. Like a lot of people are like, whoa, that's a lot. 55 people, that's a whole lot. I'm like, out of 1.1 million, that's like 0.001% of folks to say, yeah, this would really be helpful. And in the meantime, you'll be able to help thousands of others with the kind of conversational conversion videos that you put out there. So when they get to the point where they're ready, they're going to be the ones who are going to make the jump. So it's super cool. Awesome. Well, thank you all very much for coming. I very much hope that you got. Oh, yeah. Awesome. We got a question coming in. Well, while I'm waiting for that one, I just also very curious, how was this helpful? And what was your biggest takeaway from the entire thing? I'd be very, very curious about that. Excellent. You know what? Since we're here, I'm just going to type this thing in. There you go. That's the clickable version of the link. I'm pretty sure that that works. Let's see. All right. My business is most successful on a 1-to-1 model, assuming I get 20 to 30 people on the webinar. One works best for what I do. How would I manage the influx of new folks? Well, if you want to continue to do this, you would need to, we're going to build you a one-to-many program. So I have no idea. That's the hard part, is because I don't know what your business is. But I can pretty much tell you I've never run into a situation where a one-to-many did not work, especially in the kind of context that I was talking about with this. Is that you do the one-to-many because because you know who your target is. And I want to say like almost 10 out of 10 times when we do a call, who's your target audience, it's all over the place. Even if the person thinks that it's not all over the place, it typically is all over the place. And what we do then is kind of like say, okay, part of the qualification is, can you focus? It's like, can you do this? Like, what we're not going to do is cram 55 new clients into a one-to-one model. We'll break your skull. Like, this is part of where you have to evolve as a business owner. So if you want to get bigger, if you want to be able to do more, you have to change your thinking from where you are now. Like you've become successful thinking the way that you think. Awesome. That's super cool. If you want to grow, you need to think differently. And you're good at what you're good at now. Great. You're going to get good at what we're going to show you how to do if you want to do it. But that's why there's no, like, I can't sell this program. What is it? Nora just asked, how much is the program? Let's see. I'll paint it for you. I'll go back here so you can actually see this. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? All right. So for us to build all this stuff and do all this stuff for you, the total investment is $25,000. But what you pay up front is $6,250. And what that does is that covers all of the building and all of everything. So literally the entirety of our profits are based on our ability to make money for you, kind of thing. So cool. Awesome, man. I mean, do what you need to do. We're taking 10 people, literally. And I'm not saying that for like some false scarcity kind of thing, but this is one of those things where, yeah, we don't take a lot of people into this. We open it up like every 6 months or something like that. But awesome. Thank you for being on. It was super cool to have you ask great questions. And Nora, hopefully that answered your question. And if anybody else has questions, hey, let me know. But if you don't, also, I'll give you my support at, you can ask at that email. And so if I wasn't able to answer anything that you had tonight, and also if you're watching this on the replay, if you put your questions in there, they will come back out. Cool. No problem, Nora. Sarah, glad you liked it. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Cool. Well, you folks have a delightful evening, and I'll see you soon.